Imagine being caught in a freezing rainstorm, the wind whipping around you, rain soaking through your clothes, and not a single tree or rock to shelter you from the downpour. Imagine that this happens in the middle of winter. You're alone, and you have no jacket, no house, no heater, just the clothes on your back and the will to survive. This is the kind of survival situation that many people today could not handle. But for the people of the Stone Age, these were everyday occurrences. They had no modern conveniences to protect them from the elements, but they did have their wits and an abundance of natural materials to work with. So how did they survive bad weather in the Stone Age? Let's find out. The first thing that people did to protect themselves from bad weather was to build simple huts or shelters using branches, animal hides, and mud. These structures weren't very fancy, but they did the job of keeping families dry in the rain or at least somewhat warm in the snow. In colder regions, caves served as natural shelters, providing families with a place to stay safe from the worst of the storm, while still being able to keep an eye on their fire. When the weather was too harsh to travel, people would stay inside the cave with their animals, huddling together for warmth. During particularly brutal winters, people would dan every scrap of clothing they had, including animal furs. They might not have had thick coats, but layering furs helped seal out the cold. For infants and young children, extra care was taken. They would be wrapped up tightly in blankets and swaddled to keep them warm. Even after the best efforts to stay warm, the night could be long and cold. In these situations, people would huddle together around a fire for warmth. The flames might not have been as comforting as a roaring fire in a hearth, but it was enough to keep the worst of the cold at bay. People also took steps to ensure they had food to eat when the weather made hunting impossible. They would store dried meat and berries that they had gathered during better weather. These foods weren't just for sustenance, they were a lifeline during harsh weather when other sources of food were scarce. This planning ahead ensured that no one went hungry when the storm raged outside. Life in the Stone Age was tough, especially when faced with bad weather. But the people of this era were incredibly resourceful. They made the best of what nature provided, turning branches and animal hides into shelter, creating tools to hunt, and using fire to keep warm. Despite the hardships, they persevered, learning to thrive even in the harshest conditions. Now you know a little bit more about how our ancestors survived the wild. Stay tuned for more videos that bring history to life. And remember, every challenge is an opportunity to learn and grow. So keep learning and stay curious. We'll see you next time.